Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my experience with having a destination wedding at Secrets Divine. I'm going to break down how much it costs, why we went with Secrets Divine, why we chose Mexico, and if you're interested in all that, stick around. I knew for a fact that I wanted to elope and do something small, so the best way to do that is with a destination wedding. And after some research, I decided to book my wedding at Secrets Divine, which is a 5-star all-inclusive hotel in Mexico, Cancun. I initially called the resort directly and inquired them about the wedding package that is advertised on their website, and I wanted to book directly with the resort. However, I have been told to just go with a third-party company like destinationwedding.com, Paradise Wedding, or Unique Wedding Concepts to coordinate my wedding. This was actually pretty surprising to me because I thought it would just be easier to get it done through the resort directly. But I actually found out afterwards that the reason why is because these third-party companies actually buy a block of these rooms from these resorts and they sell them at a competitive price to external people. And the deal that these resort companies have with, these third-party companies is that they will not price it higher than what these third parties are going to sell it for. So you're actually getting a much better deal if you go with, third-party companies than if you are actually to book with the resort. I find this to actually be true because what I realized is that by booking with these third-party companies, I'm actually getting a much better deal. It comes as a package, so it includes shuttle, it includes flight, whereas if I were to book with just a resort, it would cost the same, but it does not include shuttle, it does not include flight, so you are actually getting a much better deal with these third parties companies. In addition, there is actually no fee that comes out of your pocket for using, destinationwedding.com or paradiseweddings.com. They actually take a cut from the resort. So it is actually a very, very good deal to go with, these third party wedding companies, which I initially didn't know at first. I actually contacted several wedding companies and surprisingly destinationweddings.com was the only one that responded back to me. The other companies responded like months later, and at that time I had already been in contact with someone from Destination Wedding and we're already going back and forth on what the options are, so it just didn't make sense for me to switch gears. And I also thought, okay, well, if they're going to respond back like months after, then they're probably just slow and not that good anyway. It is also interesting to note that the representative from destinationswedding.com is actually based in Toronto, which is where I'm from. So they actually pair you up with someone that is within your area, so it's easier to communicate with them. You're in the same, time zone, which is great. Honestly, my experience with destinationweddings.com is kind of mixed. Like, I don't really love them and I don't really hate them, but I would say that the coordinator that was assigned to me made several mistakes, or I guess like quite a bit of mistakes along the way, such as, miscommunication on baggage inclusion and also booking wrong rooms and making a lot of mistakes with booking with my friends. And it really was a big headache amongst my friends who had to go through them. However, the representative was pretty responsive when we, informed them about the mistake, and she did try to fix it right away, even working after hours. So that is one thing that I do appreciate from her. But one thing that you really have to make sure is keep a paper trail of everything so it can record everything that happened, and if anything goes wrong, you have that paper trail. Also, in the fact that you have to be very proactive, you have to double check, triple check, and make sure everything is correct. Even things like names on the booking and what exactly was booked, because there were quite a bit of mistakes that came along. And also you have to note that once everything is booked, it is non-refundable. They won't refund anything to you. So you have to be very, very careful. One thing that I noticed with destinationswedding.com was that my coordinator was pretty slow at responding back to you. So you have to keep following up, sending up these follow-up emails to make sure that she responds back. And that kind of drove a lot of my friends crazy because they're trying to, make bookings. I think that she was a little bit more better with me because I'm probably like the main person that's organizing this. But with a lot of my friends, they were definitely not happy with it. Some examples of things that went wrong is that the wrong rooms were booked for one of our friends, and it was too late because she had already booked it and it wasn't the exact room that my friends wanted, and they couldn't get a refund. So they actually didn't get a very good deal. Yeah, so you have to really be careful and make sure that there are no miscommunication. Another example is that the wrong name was booked under, a different person, and that caused a lot of check-in delays. When my friend arrived, he was just very confused why, he wasn't given a room. There were no rooms under his name, even though he had made the payment and the payment went through. One of the errors that I encountered was originally it was stated that checked-in luggage is included in the package, but later when I asked again, the representative said that is actually not included, for which I showed a screenshot saying that, well, you said it is, and then so she included it in. So it's very important to have record of, all of your communication. Also, all your payments are made through to destinationswedding.com. It is not made directly to the resort. That's because they have already bought the room. So you're making the payment to destinations.com, and they'll give you a link where you will authorize them to use your credit card, and then they will make the bookings for you. So during that process, there is quite a bit of miscommunication. My advice is to call the wedding coordinator directly and, make sure that they are doing the bookings with you while you're on the phone, because there were quite a bit of mistakes that occurred during this time. So what I ended up getting was a deal for 7 nights with the preferred club suite at Secrets Divine, and it cost $2,700 per person, and this includes shuttle to and from the airport, flight, and I guess the all-inclusive hotel for 7 nights stay, and also checked-in bag, which I had to kind of, show evidence that it was included. And this package also includes a complimentary wedding for under 10 guests, and that includes the bride and groom as well. So one thing to note is that to get a complimentary wedding, you have to stay at least 7 nights with the preferred club suite. If you want to add additional guests, it is $15 per person for up to 20 people. But we didn't end up doing that because it's a small wedding anyway, so we didn't really need to. And what this wedding includes is that it includes the ceremony, it included the bouquet and boutonniere, it included cake, and included wine and a semi-private dinner. The dinner is just at one of the restaurants in the resort, so I mean, it's all inclusive anyway, so yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. The wedding package also includes a complimentary breakfast in bed the next day, which I thought was very nice, and the food was much better than regular, room service food, which is weird. They also give you this hydro massage, which I think they give it to all the honeymooners, because when we went, we saw that there were a lot of honeymooners, and we also saw them at this hydro massage as well. It is also important to note that if you check in early, you do still have access to the rest of the resort for until 5 p.m. So if you have a later flight, then you can just check out and then just still enjoy the rest of the resort and the food and the amenities. The wedding package also included an extra room that you can request on the day before the wedding or the day of the wedding, and you can use that room for the other person, like either the bride or groom, to get ready in so you don't see each other. So that is available upon request. And so I had to request that when I got to the resort. Again, these are things that if they say you have to request, you have to be the one to follow up and request, because they will not, ask you about it at all. And you have to have a paper trail saying that you requested, because one of the issues I had was when I got there, they said that I didn't request it, but the truth was I did request it. It was in a paper trail, but they told me to request it on the day of. So there is a lot of miscommunication. Like I mentioned, you do have to have a lot of paper trail to back up everything that you're saying. You have to be very proactive if you're planning a destination wedding, which actually I think you have to be proactive even if you're planning a big wedding in Toronto, because it's probably like way worse than what I have to go through. But that is one thing that's my key advice to everyone: paper trail. Make sure you have paper trails of everything. So this does not include like the officiant, it does not include hair and makeup, it does not include photos or videos, and it does not include microphones or anything like that, or any of that stuff. It does include like the gazebo where you'll get married at, and I think it is pretty nice. You're overlooking the ocean. It is very small for the complimentary wedding, so I have to keep that in mind. If you have a much bigger wedding, you're located somewhere else, and the decor is just very simple. It's just white drapes, white chairs, so that's included, and then a white runway, which is more than enough for me at least. I did get hair and makeup for free because there was a miscommunication between me and the hotel staff, so they gave it to me as a gesture of goodwill. But typically it costs about $200 USD for both of them combined, which is really not bad, and I would have just paid it out of my own pocket anyway. If you were to rent like the sound system, music, microphones and all that stuff, it does cost about $700 USD. So we didn't do that because, well, it's so small anyway. We figured we'll just bring our own speaker, which we're allowed to. I mean, it was small, so you can hear everything. We also did not do the whole, photo and video package. So it costs about, starting at $2,000. And we didn't do that because we just had our friends film, and then you're allowed to bring a tripod and set it up, which is what I did as well. If you want to have your wedding at the beach, they do charge you a government fee, so it's about $500. And also the officiant is about $500 to $700 as well. In order to have a wedding at the resort, you have to have at least 80% of the guests staying at the same resort. So we had one external guest who was staying at an Airbnb, and for him to access the resort, it cost him $150, and that gives him access from 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. I actually thought that the ceremony was really nice. It was really small. It's not like very pretty or extravagant. I didn't pay for any upgrades, but I thought it was just really nice. It was overlooking a beach and it was very meaningful. The vows were very touching, and we got our friend to officiate for us, so we saved some money there. So the process with the resort was very simple. After I paid my deposit, assigned you somebody from the resort to help coordinate the wedding with you, and they'll just send you an Excel file and ask you to choose certain things like what type of cake you want, which restaurant you want to be at, how many guests are coming, and if you want to pay for additional things like extra decor, you kind of have to request that. So it was just very simple. I actually find that the experience with the wedding planner from the resort was much more better than the wedding planner from destinationswedding.com. She was actually much more responsive. She actually responds to you like right away if you have any questions, even questions about the resort itself and not exactly about the wedding. So if you're planning a destination wedding, I do highly recommend you go with a third-party company because it is a lot cheaper, and I think some resorts kind of direct you to them anyway, so they won't even let you book directly with the resort, which is what happened with us. However, be ready to double check everything and be very detail oriented with all of the communications in case any mistake occurs. So with the booking, I did book 7 to 8 months in advance, and I think that is why we're able to get such a good price. A lot of my friends booked much later, and I don't think they got like a pretty good price at all. The final payment is due 2 months before the trip, and you do need to pay a $500 deposit prior to that to secure your spot. The reason why we decided to go to Mexico is because it was just one of the cheaper options. We've never been to Mexico before, and there were a couple of things and excursions that I did wanted to see, like the Chichen Itza, and there were just like, you know, the cenotes and a lot of excursions that we think that we could do compared to other places. And upon my research, it was just a much more cheaper options to go with, you know, Mexico destination wedding than other places. They're much more expensive. I went with Secrets Divine specifically because it is actually one of the, you know, 5-star all-inclusive hotel, and it is also adults only. And I figured since, you know, we don't have kids and we might in the future, so might as well just pick a adult only while we can for now. What also attracted me to this resort is because of the complimentary wedding as well. It was just such a good deal that I just couldn't pass up on. I think other, you know, resorts, I don't know if they have that. I don't think a lot of them had it, so that's why I went with Secrets Divine. And honestly, it was really nice. Like, it was one of the high-rise resorts, so you can see everything. The view was spectacular. Although there are some people who say that it doesn't really feel like your resort, it feels like you're a hotel, and that was kind of one of my main worries. But once I got there, I was like, this is great. Everything was lovely. I really enjoyed the view. And that's my review for my destination wedding. So if you have any questions, if you want to know more, let me know in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to answer for you. Honestly, I had a great time. I have no regrets. It was small, but I wanted small, and I, you know, had a great time. It just felt like a vacation. I was just so happy on the trip. I felt so in love, and I was like, everyone should have a destination wedding. You just feel less stress. And I think that's what a wedding should be. It should be fun. It shouldn't be stressful. It should be, you know, a day where you're just like celebrating with, you know, people that, you know, make the trip fun. It should be stress-free, and that's exactly what it was. So I think I maybe felt stressed for 5 minutes the day before the wedding, but that was it. And I just cannot imagine feeling that stress for like a whole year while planning a wedding. So that's insane to me. So I'll see you guys next time in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.